Todd, I'm going to pack light for these Minnesota trips.
That's smart.
Yeah, just me, the bike, 3 pairs of underwear, and, well, emergency slices of pie. Our goal at Best Motorcycle Roads is to make your next motorcycle trip the best it can be. The bottom line is Minnesota has some great places to ride, and it also has some places to avoid because there's not many twisty roads.
Oh, yeah.
When you avoid the 10,000 or so lakes, right?
Right.
But if you've never ridden up that way, some of the northern sections, there's just a ton of coastline in Minnesota that's great to see. So I guess we're in 5 of a 6-part series exploring our hidden gems of the Midwest here. And what we're doing today is 7 gems when riding Minnesota. So I was thinking we could start up in one of our favorite areas of the Driftless. Mm-hmm. So we called this first one Root River Ridge Ride, or the Driftless Triangle.
Nice.
So it's what, about 95 miles in length,
Yep.
La Crescent to Caledonia, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So what are the must-sees there, Todd?
Well, there's apple orchards around La Crescent and the bluffs that are overlooking the Mississippi River, for sure.
Anytime I'm up there, it's like, it depends on the time of year, of course, but in the fall, there's always like roadside stands selling a lot of cool stuff. Like apple butter, honey, just every various thing.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then in Houston, that's the gateway to the Root River Valley. That's really into that whole driftless landscape. Pretty awesome. And then Lanesboro, that's known as Minnesota's bed and breakfast capital.
Right. If you get up there, you're going to see there's a ton of places for camping, RVs, bike trails. It's huge up there.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. It's wild. There's a ton of bicycle trails. Yeah.
Good stuff. Harmony, that's kind of Amish country up there, so keep your eyes open for the horse-drawn buggies, but lots of homemade goods, and that's really kind of a just quiet farmland roads there,
And I know I talk about pie all the time, but anytime, like, they'll sometimes have roadside stands with Amish pie selling, and that is the best.
You're right. And then Caledonia, that's actually the wild turkey capital of Minnesota.
Animal?
I'm just
kidding.
I didn't think of the other one.
Yeah, that's cool. So we found a couple of places on this driftless triangle that were good places to eat. So we had Shawnee's Bar and Grill. That's in Caledonia. So we're talking small town bar and grill, beer, burgers, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then Pedal Pushers Cafe, like we talked about, Lanesboro is a huge bicycling camping area. So that's big. It's a great stop for lunch at the Pedal Pushers Cafe. It's kind of local fare with burgers and sandwiches. And then Estelle's Eatery in Harmony. And that's kind of cool. It's like farm-to-table dining as well. So it's one of those local situations, which is pretty cool.
Right there in Amish country.
Yeah. So now we have the Minnesota Bluffs ride. And that's a 65-mile ride. And this is country you're familiar with, right? Winona to Red Wing.
Yeah. So Red Wing, I spent a year or so up there going to school, and then Winona, went up there several times when my daughter was in college.
Yeah.
She played against Winona quite a bit, she was at Minnesota State. So Winona is just a great college town right on the river. There's actually 3 schools there. There's Winona State University, St. Mary's University of Minnesota, and then Minnesota State College Southeast is there. It's beautiful. Bluffs. It's called Garvin Heights Overlook. That's just a great spot. Way up high, take photos.
Cool, because the river's down below.
Yes. Yeah. Winona's a really
cool
really
town.
nice town. Yeah, if you get in there.
And most of the time except winter.
Well, right. Yeah.
Kellogg's another town on this trip in this little route. It's a little river town, but there's an interesting place called Lark Toys. So they have some hand carved carousels and then a lot of retro toys. So it's very
nice.
well known for this toy shop. Wabasha has an Eagle Center because we're kind of along all these rivers, and since it wasn't a reintroduction of the eagle, but they've been really working hard up in northern Iowa in the Driftless area. There's a ton of eagles now, and it's cool to watch them.
Yeah.
So Lake City, right? That is on Lake Pepin, which is kind of it is. They call it a lake, but it's part of the Mississippi, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
It's just a
it's
really
kind of
wide spot there. Yeah.
And that was the birthplace of water skiing.
Water skiing, and I wish I remembered the name, but there's a great like sign up there that talks about the birthplace of water skiing.
Is it one of those ones you can stick your face through?
I don't think so, but yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I can't remember the guy's name that did that. I should have prepared a little better. Yeah, we'll just call him Earl.
And then Red Wing, right? So you were spending some time there too. It's a great town.
Yeah, it's a great town. There's great places to eat. Technical College there, Minnesota State. Well, it's one of the, it was Red Wing Technical College. Now they call it Minnesota something.
Sure.
State something. But yeah, it's just a iconic river town. It's well preserved. It's very, very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we have must eats in Winona. We found Bub's Brewing Co. So that's like kind of pub, grub, historic building, burgers, beer, that kind of thing. And then let's see, between Kellogg and Wabasha, we found a great one that's Reed's Landing Brewing. So another brewing, again on the river. Craft beer, Mississippi views, sipping beers, watching the Mississippi. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And then in Red Wing is Smokin' Oak Rotisserie and Grill. So we're talking like a wood-fired rotisserie chicken, ribs,
prime rib,
you name it. It sounds mouthwatering.
It really does.
So our third gem is from St. Croix to the border. So this was an interesting one. So it's a long one, 295 miles. So that'd be a good solid day ride.
Yeah.
Stillwater, Minnesota, all the way to International Falls, which is, I believe, the northernmost. Minnesota has this funky outlet thing that you can only get to from Canada, like Angler's Point or something. But outside of that, it's really as north as you can imagine. That's kind of the main Canadian crossover up in that area. So if you start in Stillwater, you're starting out on the St. Croix River, and they got a lift bridge, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, those are
there,
neat.
yeah. And then I believe it's Cloquet, right? And I'm sure that someone will correct me if it's not, but I'm pretty sure it's Cloquet.
We get crap all the time.
We love it though. Please,
we mispronounce these.
We like to shake it up in the comments.
Yeah.
Please do.
It's funny.
Even if we say it wrong, tell us we did it right, or vice versa.
Vice versa. If we said it right, do it wrong. I go through these towns. Sometimes it's been a couple of years. I don't remember how to say the names of these places. So.
Well, Cloquet is an old logging town, right? But one of the cool things, and I haven't seen this, but I'm feeling like we should, the next time we're in the neighborhood, I'd like to go.
Yes.
They have a Frank Lloyd Wright designed gas station.
Oh.
So I'm a huge Frank Lloyd Wright fan. So
yeah.
There's an area they call the Iron Range in there. And what's cool about that is it's a number of towns, but mining country, big machinery. We've seen that up in northern Michigan as well. But it's just neat. It's neat and sad because you can see all the work that had been done there in the past and just kind of left it. Some of this machinery so big, it's not like you move it anywhere. So that's cool. And then finalizing everything all the way up in International Falls. Again, that's that border town between Canada and Minnesota on the Rainy River there. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So we found a few great places to eat along the way. Leo's Grill and Malt Shop sounds amazing. That's in Stillwater. It's kind of your 50s style malt shop.
Yeah.
Burgers, fries, and shakes.
Perfect.
In Cloquet, what did we find there?
Gordy's Hi-Hat.
Nice.
It's been around since 1960, and it's one of the top picks there. They've got hand-patted burgers, homemade onion rings, shakes, walleye sandwiches. It's seasonal though. Just I think March through October.
Sure.
Daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it's you can grab dessert next door.
Oh, cool.
It's really good. Good place.
They call that the warming house next door. Is that the Hi-Hat is the restaurant, and the warming house is kind of the whatever, to go and things like that. But and then in International Falls, it's the Chocolate Moose Restaurant Company. Steaks, walleyes, burgers, pasta, homemade pies, so all the good stuff.
All the stuff we love.
And what we find in Minnesota and some of these other states around, there's a lot of locally caught fish because of so many lakes and everything. So like that walleye sandwich, I think that's a local walleye. I mean, I think they're catching that up there. Jeez. So that's what's cool about some of these places. And, it's always Friday night fish fries up there, I think, too. So for the fourth ride, we have Prairie to River Valley, and this one's 135 miles. So some of the similar spots, like I said, 135 miles. We're going through Worthington, so you're going to see, this is part of the Minnesota Prairie, and you're going to see a lot of wind turbines. And then St. James is an old railroad town. And then Mankato, which you know that one, that's Minnesota River Valley area. New Richland is kind of where things meet the farmland. So, and this is kind of working from, if you think of working from the west side to the east, like through to Albert Lea is where we're kind of ending. They call Albert Lea the land between the lakes because there's a couple big lakes on each side of Albert Lea. Pretty neat town if you ever get in that area. But in Worthington, there's a place called the Forbidden Barrel Brewing Company. So interesting pizzas, Minnesota-ish based, like tater tot hot dish, because there's no such thing as a casserole in Minnesota. Everything's a hot dish.
That's right.
And of course, house-made craft beer there.
Yeah.
In Mankato, have you ever been to Weggies on campus?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And it's like breakfast and everything. It's like an old diner-ish.
Huge omelets.
Gargantuan.
Big
Cakes,
stacks of pancakes.
Yeah. If you leave hungry, it's your fault, not theirs.
Exactly.
And then in Albert Lea, we found a really neat one, 112 on Broadway. A little bit nicer in an historic building, but it's steaks, pasta. So I would say this is kind of the evening one if you get your way that way.
Yeah.
So our fifth out of 7 is the St. Croix and Pines Loop, 95 miles. We're going to start in Taylor Falls. So this is right on the St. Croix River. So we're getting bluffs, we're getting great views, we're getting some curvy roads. And then Brom, just this kind of small town Minnesota. Homemade pie capital of Minnesota, they say. I don't know. We might have to try it. I mean, you got Betty's Pies up there, so like I'm not sure how you're going to do that, but maybe they're saying that Betty's Pies ain't homemade. I don't know. Maybe we're throwing some feint up there or something, but. And then this one ends in Lindstrom, Swedish area around there, and you're right back in the river bluffs. So, what did we find for must-eats on this one, Todd?
The Grumpy Minnow. It's in Harris, Minnesota. It's a lakeside
Even if it doesn't taste good, it's a great name.
I love the name. I know. Great burgers, fish sandwiches, and great stop for lunch. And then in Brom, Minnesota.
Homemade pie capital of Minnesota.
That's right. You've got Park Cafe. And they're known for their pies, and it's just kind of a small town cafe.
Sure.
The slice of pie is a must.
So breakfast in the morning at the Wagon Wheel Cafe in Brom as well.
Yes.
And then pizzas at night. So that kind of sounds cool too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Apparently the thin crust is where it's at there.
That's the one.
That's
Okay.
the story.
All right.
So we kind of looked up. We were looking for something a little different here. So we talked about International Falls from Stillwater, but I was looking at one, and this one's interesting. There's a couple interesting things. This is a 299 mile border to shore, meaning the border of Canada with International Falls all the way down to Superior. So when you're starting out up there in Longworth, Lake of the Woods, Baudette area, it's very remote. So like basically endless pines and lakes. But there is Willie the Walleye statue up there in Baudette. So check that out. And then you're getting through some towns called Little Fort Ray Gein. And this is out by the national park, Voyageurs National Park. But there is a lot of moose and potentially black bear up there, which, we've rode all around up in this area. We rode in Canada. I've yet to see a moose. I'm not saying I want to necessarily see a moose when we're riding the bikes, but we've yet to see one. So then kind of one of the other kind of hubs of that area is Ely, Minnesota. A lot of that is called the Boundary Waters kind of hub area. Lots of place, but there's also the International Wolf Center, which we've mentioned before. And then Ilgan City is right there at the end of... We've taken this road in one of the tour we did a couple years ago, if you remember. And you're coming from Ely and you're kind of heading towards Duluth-ish area. But you come over that hill and boom, like Superior just fans out. And it's every time I go there, I forget how amazing it looks. It looks like it's so dramatic on that. It's the west side of Superior on the Minnesota like curve. but there's such a drop off on those bluffs,
yeah.
and I don't know if you remember that or not. But you basically come down, you head south, and you're really just riding this like. I don't know. I've never been to the Pacific Coast Highway, but it makes me wonder if it's similar.
Yeah.
Not quite so dramatic of hills, but man, and then those little pedestals of rock sticking out, I mean, it's just amazing. So we found a few places to eat, and I will tell you, there's not many up there.
Well,
It's pretty abandoned.
I was wondering if gas is an issue up there as well.
Well, I mean, I think with most modern bikes, it's probably not.
Okay.
But you're going to be getting gas at some small places. I mean, I think of some of the places that we had when we were in Michigan recently. Where it's like, yeah, you better get gas. It's a 3-pumper, but you better get gas there.
Yeah.
But we found in Ely the Insula restaurant. Now this is kind of interesting. It's kind of a upscale go-to Northwoods place. Kind of one of these places where this chef. I'm not sure where he came from, but he's building bison burgers and walleye sandwiches. So, but it's kind of upscaled area, which is kind of weird up in the middle of Ely. But and then in Finland, Minnesota, there's a place we found called Our Place, small town diner, cakes, omelets, burgers. So, right our way. And then of course, this is a little cheap because it's a little off the map, but I couldn't help myself. It's Betty's Pies. Betty's Pies up there again, 50s-ish, all the pie you can imagine. Everything you can think of, banana cream, chocolate layered, berry. There's usually, 6, I think, flavors at a time. Every time you go in there, it's 6 or 7.
It's more than I can eat. I know that.
Yeah, so.
5-layer chocolate cake or pie. I remember that one.
Yeah, I mean, they have all the different options. It's a fun place to stop.
Yeah.
A little bit tricky on the motorcycle because it's the parking lot is on a heck of a steep hill. So you kind of have to be prepared. You turn in and you're right up the hill. So.
Yeah.
But it is mostly paved, so it's easy to traverse there. So, and then the last one, number 7, we called this one the Borderline Bluff Ride. 95 miles, Lake City, Minnesota to Chester. So Lake City would be that Lake Pepin. We talked about that. So if you think of the second third of Minnesota, kind of if you drew a line vertically, that's kind of where Lake City would end up. So start in Lake Pepin Overlook. And the reason I took this is because I've driven this road so many times. And it's pretty much Highway 63 all the way down. Now, when you get into Rochester, you take a little detour just so you don't roll through downtown Rochester. Yeah. But 63 all the way from Lake City all the way down to the border of Minnesota and Iowa. And so you roll through the Zumbro River Valley. And I have done this, and it's great. I have only rode the motorcycle on it once. But man, oh man, I've rode it in the car before a bunch of times. It's a great ride. So that's Zumbro River, and then Stewartville, not really a tourist town, but it's pretty much pure Minnesota farm country. Yeah. And then you can just see things flatten out as you kind of get through. You can tell you're getting out of the Driftless and into that.
Yeah, I've gone through both Zumbro and Stewartville many times, and beautiful little towns.
So the place that you've got to eat on the way is there's the Lake House on Pepin. So that's right on the water. It's got that Mississippi River action, what you like, sitting out eating. And we're talking walleye sandwiches and steaks here is what you want to go for.
Good stuff. And
then in Rochester, there is a small chain there called Newt's. And it is bar and grill with arguably some of the best burgers in Minnesota. Big burgers. And they say the mushroom and Swiss is to die for. So I've never been there. And then one more in Rushford, Minnesota, the Creamery. Part restaurant, part ice cream parlor. Nothing could go wrong, right? Ice cream, pizza. What are we going to miss? So Minnesota, we've had a lot of fun riding in Minnesota. We've covered a lot of the areas. I don't think we've been on the far west side, and mostly because it's just kind of not much there. I know when Turk and I were coming back from Seattle, we did ride through that, but I mean, you're just kind of, it's just interstate most of the time.
Yeah, and I think we kind of choose to go up there when it's super hot here, like mid-summer, mid-July, or even August. Just head up there.
Yeah, and then you hit that one line, and then it's all pine trees from there, and then you're getting up there.
Yeah, it's great.
So it just doesn't get much warmer, but you get bigger bugs.
Yeah. And like you said, just riding around the lakes, pick a road. It doesn't really matter.
No,
It's so nice.
This is a section we call the Toolkit. We share motorcycle gear review, and other riding tips. So in the Toolkit today, Todd, I've found a few things that we could talk about. If you can't afford to upgrade your seat, which, I don't know what the story is. I don't know why every motorcycle seems to come with a cruddy seat, but they all seem to. Even the brand new ones that were overspending money on the bike and you still get a crappy seat.
Right.
So you got two options, right? You really either get a new seat, and there's options. There's some bolt-on options, and then there's custom options depending on how crazy you want to go. Or the low-cost option, and you guys have used this for years, is you guys have used the AirHawk quite a bit, haven't you?
Yeah.
And so that allows you to kind of fill and you kind of get to regulate a little bit.
Yeah, you can put air into it.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of adjust the amount of air you want to give you the right kind of cushion. Now,
Yep.
mine is a knockoff of
course.
AirHawk, but Brad has the official brand. But they help. They're still not ideal, but they help quite a bit.
And you can adjust that in the right. It does change things a little bit, right?
It does. Yeah.
And then I've used beads and the old sheep's cover. I can't remember exactly where we're at, but up north somewhere, and we found a leather shop, and Turk and I both bought what they would call it a skunk seat cover. It's they dyed it black and then they had white. So, and I've left that in there, and I like it.
Yeah, I remember when you bought
and
that.
The way we've adjusted is sometimes you put the beads under the sheepskin and put the sheepskin on top. Sometimes you put sheepskin down, the beads on top. What I like about it with that is it kind of allows you to kind of slide around on your seat a little bit. Whereas, like with most seats, you kind of get stuck in there. You get things get a little moist, and then you don't move much. This really lets you kind of slide back and forth ever so slightly. It just changes the pressure points.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, I definitely will be looking for a new seat. I just got a brand new bike.
Yeah.
I have about 500 miles on it, and
you already know
the seat is not good. Yeah.
So on the Gold Wings and the bigger bikes, you've got the ultimate seats, and then you can get custom seats. There's a number of custom people. On the older cruisers or some of the Harleys, then there's the Mustang seat is a pretty good low cost.
I had a Mustang seat on one of my early bikes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. It set me up a little bit higher.
Yep.
But comfort wise, it was really good because it was so wide.
It sets you up higher, I think, because it increases the foam.
It does. Yeah.
So you got ultimate, and then you also got. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. It starts with a C. Corbin.
Oh,
Corbin's another great seat maker, and none of these options are cheap. One is these seats are huge. I mean, like these seats are 3 feet long. I mean, so and now some of them, like most of the newer bikes, all have heat in them. So you got all these other things going on in there. But yeah, a good seat will fix a bad day.
Yeah,
for
sure does. Yeah.
So, and we've talked a lot about earplugs. I mean, there's options here, right? I mean, there's everything from your cheap foam, just regular everyday ones, to medium priced ones, to custom fit earplugs. They make a heck of a difference. I mean, I wish I would have been wearing them a long, long time. I mean, if there's one thing, I say that about 10 things, but if there really was one thing I'd change about riding early as we were, is wearing earplugs, because we have never, I mean, I have never found a helmet that's really, truly quiet. And if you do, you got to close it all up, and then it gets hotter than Dickens in there, and nobody wants to sit with that. So as soon as we started riding with earplugs, man, oh man.
And it doesn't ruin what you can hear through your headphones. I mean, we have communicators on, so we're talking all the time. It doesn't ruin any of that.
No, it doesn't.
It just takes all that blowing and blah, 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 blah. It just everything, all the hissing.
Mine would be ringing at night and everything else, and man, it's just a big deal.
Yeah,
so
it just makes it a much more enjoyable ride for sure.
Even
behind a big windscreen like I've got. I mean.
Yep. No, it's true. So yeah, earplugs a big plus. Riding boots are another good one. I think officially, if you're following all the rules, you want your ankles covered. In prevention of if you fall off, then you kind of have a protection of your ankles. But there's so many options. I mean, all of us have a different type of boot. I've got, I think, a 6-inch side. I guess what would you call it? Like a 6-inch high.
Yep.
I really like those. You just got to be careful when you're buying boots based on your seating position. Depending on how your feet end up. Some boots aren't really, if your knee is over 90 degrees from the bottom of your foot, then you got to really make sure that boot can lean into that like that, because that goes the same if you have a little bit more of a sport touring. You got to kind of be careful of your boot.
Yeah.
Because it's not your feet aren't sitting way back, and it's the same if your feet are going at an open angle. Then you got to really be careful of the bottom, because they don't stay as tight. It takes a little while for them to get stretched out, especially if you're going to have that position. I've found the leather boots tend to be a little better because they'll wear in for you.
Yeah, the set of boots that I have are fine for riding. They're great for riding, but man, when you get off to walk around, they're horrible.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just terrible.
And that is something you have to think about.
Yeah, if you're going to visit places and walk around,
yeah. And
you want a boot that's going to work for that too.
And you don't want to be just switching your boots.
Oh, no. It takes too long. And tying them, and they have all the loops.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could just have a couple of straps, like.
Didn't they have those in Back to the Future?
They did.
I mean,
yeah.
what happened?
I mean, yeah, what happened? I want that. We're past that future date, aren't we?
And then anytime I'm talking about boots, I always like to throw one in there about a boot dryer. And they make some really nice portables. The one that I'm using now is cheap. It doesn't even have a blower on it. You just put the boots in there. They heat up.
I usually put a
t-shirt.
Yeah,
sorry. You can try. Yeah, the dryers go inside the boot, but they're really tiny. I mean, they're like, 2 banana sized, per each. So they pack well. You plug them in. They just heat up, and then I usually just put a t-shirt or something over the top. Keeps the heat from coming out, and then it warms them up and dries them out for the day. Oh, it's great. Super great. Can't recommend it enough.
Good.
All right. Well, if you liked the podcast today, please like, subscribe, and sign up for BMR Rider Alerts. It's our way of keeping you in the loop, and we promise no spam.
Keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember, bikes, friends, and endless roads, the stories ride forever. Take care.